This is an extremely unique one-of-one BMW concept car called the Concept Skytop, and it merges the interior with the exterior seamlessly. And we got our hands on it today in Italy, Lake Como. Sometimes concept cars look completely out there, which we also like, but sometimes they look more realistic, and I can see this going into production. BMW said if it gets enough interest, they just might. So let's have a little bit of a look. What they're doing is they're mixing a sporty feel, muscular, with elegance and luxury. So what you're gonna get are a lot of muscular tones to the car. So you have a muscular rear shoulder at the back, but at the same time, you have very precise futuristic lines. So this is the thinnest daytime running light that I've seen, and they've done that on purpose. But it obviously has that BMW design language, and it does have a little bit of features from previous cars, such as the 503 way back in the day. But for example, this windshield is straight from the 8 Series. The chassis is straight from the 8 Series. Everything else is bespoke just for this car. So let's kind of go into some of the more subtle details. It obviously has the BMW shark nose, which from the side actually looks best. I think if you go this way, you kind of stand right there, you see how it's leaning forward and then cuts in, and everything is kind of pronounced going forward. And that forward kind of design is emphasized with the spline that goes right down the middle. So you see this going right down the middle. You'll see that follow into the interior and come out of the back. It looks great. Now, the kidney grills, right? First thing you talk about when you're talking about BMWs are the kidney grills. So you have horizontal lamellas, and what they've done is instead of making it over dramatic and cool by making it like glossy black and have a contrast, they've gone with a lighter shade of gray to keep everything very elegant, because this is being revealed at Villa d'Este in Lake Como, which is a very fancy, elegant event. And this car fits that kind of tone perfectly. On the tips of the lamellas, you have this aluminum detail. Looks very nice. It's kind of like subtle luxury, not over the top, in your face, screaming luxury. And you're gonna see these gray details just about everywhere. At the bottom, on the side intakes too. Going over to the side, these rims, pretty interesting. It's the first time that they've done this lamella look. You have all these individual lines going on, and there's a 2-layer kind of pattern going on. So you have the lamellas behind this, and then this kind of turbine on the surface. Looks very nice. The rims are specifically designed for this car. On the side, two things I like. First of all, the first thing I asked, I said, what's this? You got little wings, they look like little airplane wings. That's actually the door handle. That's how you open them up. And I like it. It makes the car look like it's flying a little bit, you know? Also, the shape of the window is really cool, because obviously the window's coming from here, but then you have the continued shape going to the back. Feels very modern, very nice. And also, this is kind of the muscular rear shoulder that I was talking about, where it's rounded and bulky, but it also combines very well with very sharp lines right there. Next thing you're gonna notice is that this is a removable roof, and it's made from leather. Now, a bit bold making a leather roof. Obviously, this is for the kind of car that you'd park it always in a garage. But what's interesting about this is that they've tried to make the interior seamlessly transition into the exterior. So they've gotten the brown leather from the inside, added it on to the top of the roof, and it then transitions into the rear. So this piece is also leather, and then the paint work on this has been carefully applied so that it seamlessly transitions into the body. And how nice does that look? I mean, that looks cool, right? You just don't see something like that at all. This kind of reminds me, this is like BMW's very own version of like the Rolls-Royce boat tail. Because when you look at the back, okay, it has that kind of boat inspiration. Of course, it's not the Rolls-Royce boat tail, which is a $28 million car, but it does have a little bit of that feel. You know how the boat tail kind of has these, you know, things going on the side? It has that kind of two-piece rear. I know, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it does have that kind of vibe a little bit. So, you know, this could be BMW's very own Rolls-Royce boat tail. The problem is they're not selling it for now. Let's hope they do. The window right there can be lowered. Very nice little detail. Feels very premium, very luxurious. And that's obviously very nice, of course, when you remove the top. This car, in terms of engine, it's not just some shell. It actually has the most powerful V8 that BMW produces, and it sounds great. I'll let you guys listen to what that sounds like in just a second. These taillights, extremely thin, extremely thin. Again, they did that on purpose. And the way they did this is they fitted the LEDs into a mold, and they made the tiniest, skinniest taillights imaginable. All right, so continuing with the shape of the car, this does look more like an 8 Series. And what I like is you can actually pop this trunk and put the top in the back. This goes up like that. And then inside, everything wrapped in leather with that reddish brown, little strap right here. Pull that up. That's where the roof goes. So let's do that. Looks nice, huh? Looks very boutique. There we go. And now this, if you see there's some indentations in there, I have to put the front right in there, and then it clicks. So let's do that, like this, carefully. Okay, let's let it rest. And then, like this. And lastly, these pieces will click in there so that it's secure, right? You don't want this thing flying around. It is your roof after all, so there you go. Easy. All right, and let's remove the other one. Right now, it kind of looks like a Monza SP1. You know, it's a BMW Monza SP1 because it's got one of the roof covered up. By the way, we also had the Monza SP2 on sbxcars.com. If you guys are interested in super premium cars around the world, you can visit our very own car auction platform, sbxcars.com. We don't have this specific one, but we do have a lot of special cars. So anyways, continuing with the review, let's remove the other roof like that. I know BMW is super nervous about letting me handle this roof. They're doing the world premiere tomorrow. They're all watching in the back. I'm joking. Anyways, I'll be careful. So this goes right there, like that. And then, is it okay? All good? Yes? Very good. Okay. All right, so anyways, this goes back down like this. And then this, you can just press a little button and it'll come down by itself. Just don't put your hand in there. That would hurt. Wow, all right, so 2 cars in one. So now you're getting a convertible and it looks great. This is starting to feel a little bit more as if it was like a sporty, you know, M8 drop top. Let's jump inside. So to open the door, tap these little wings like that. Very easy, opens right up. Now check out this interior. This is awesome. Everything is a reddish brown color and it's all wrapped in leather. So they literally completely decked this out in leather. This is actually called broke leather. When they pierce and perforate the leather in this pattern, straight out of Italy. And what you'll also notice is that it's combined with these monochromatic details everywhere. So you have one on the steering wheel, looks purple, yellow, red, every color. You also have this piece in the middle of the gear selector. Now, the wheel covered in that monochromatic color, the start stop. On the headrests, if you go on your side, you'll see BMW right there. Again, it's like a in-depth monochromatic. It looks like a 3D kind of effect. Now on the seats, if you're familiar with BMWs too, you'll notice that they've added this back pad of leather. You see, this isn't normally on there. Even the stitching itself is unique. And this is squishy. I mean, this is real squish. We're talking about the squish factor. Now I'm gonna go over to your side to show you a couple of details that I noticed. First of all, on the door, since everything is wrapped in leather, they've even covered the speakers. So this area is speakers. You see how this is all now leather? And they've perforated it so that the sound goes through it. Also this piece right there, everything. Even the bits that they couldn't cover in leather, so the actual pieces of gloss, whether it's different materials, they've just painted it right over to make it all look like it's one same color. Pretty nice. You can see that right there. The AC vents painted in that same kind of reddish brown color. The back seats. Now, these straps right there are basically to hold onto your bags. Right there, just to leave it hanging. Or if you have an extremely tiny person, you could put them in there. Now this piece, if you want to lower it, you press this button right here. Open that up like this. And right there, and check this out. Very nice. A couple more things on the inside. I like the BMW being embossed on the letter down the middle. And in general, the rest of the interior is pretty familiar if you know your way around BMWs. Now, this is a car that they've made specifically for Villa d'Este. There's only one in the world, and it's here right now. And I asked them, I said, if you have a car that looks this good, and it looks this realistic, why don't you just make, like a limited series, like maybe 5 or 10? And they said, well, if there's enough interest, we might. So if you guys like this car, make sure to leave some feedback in the comments, some support, and maybe we can peer pressure BMW into making a car like this. This would look awesome on the road. Now, obviously, because it's a concept car, I can't drive it yet. So we do have someone from BMW who's gonna help us out. So start, stop is down the middle. And then look, right there, the model of the car comes up, which is pretty cool. All right, so we can't drive it, but we can commentate on it. Yeah, there we go. We're off. Imagine seeing this down the street. Oh man, I feel like a car spotter. If I saw this down the road, wouldn't believe my eyes. Okay. It's got a lot of pressure. A single pebble scratch, it's over. Crazy car. Once again, if you guys love crazy cars and you want to buy one potentially, you can go to sbxcars.com, our very own car auction platform, and you can find extremely special cars. By the way, check out the location we're in. This is Villa Erba, next to Villa d'Este. I don't know who used to live here, but he was probably doing all right. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. That's the BMW Concept Skytop. What do you guys think? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time.